Hey, if we have timed this video just right, it should have been released on the morning of New Year's Day. So happy 2023 to you, whether you're watching it on the 1st of January or a few days afterwards. Hey, so I just have a few thoughts to share with you in the next few minutes today from just one verse, and it's all about thinking about where you are and where you're heading next, because New Year's is kind of a time when people are thinking about that anyway, right? Some of you may have made plans for 2023. Some of you may have even really recently made some New Year's resolutions or plans of what you want to achieve this year. The thing is about New Year's resolutions is that we're not always so good at sticking with them, are we? I'm not really into New Year's resolutions, but for a couple of years in a row, I did set myself a year-long challenge, which was quite fun. So the first year-long challenge that I did a few years back was to not buy any new clothes unless they were at least half price. So anything I bought, if it wasn't on a great sale, then it was op-shopped. So that was quite fun. And I got through almost the whole year, but then I decided that I really did need a pair of jeans, and I bought a pair of jeans, but it turned out that they weren't even that comfortable, and so it was a bit of a waste of not making it through my challenge. But the next year, I decided that I would deny myself buying any books. Now, normally before that, I would add quite a few books to my collection during the year, both fiction and non-fiction. But that year, it was either op-shopped books, if I did buy an actual book, or it was the library, or borrowing books off friends, or ebooks or audiobooks. And so I found out, did you know that the library will buy a book in for you if they don't already have it, and they'll add it to their collection. And so far they haven't ever turned down any of my requests. So there was one particular book that I got the library to order in for me because they didn't have it, and I got it out of the library and I read it, sent it back to the library. A month or so later I got it out again and read it again. And I'm not normally someone that reads a book more than once, or not without a really long period in between. But I decided actually that after reading it twice that I actually wanted to buy that book because I wanted to be able to lend it out to people and maybe even read it again. So I broke my rule again that year as well, and I have that one on my shelf. But both years it was a really interesting experiment in self-control and figuring out what I really wanted, and also coming up with some creative ways of achieving what I wanted without adding to my stuff. So that was kind of fun. I'm keen to do something like that again, but I just can't decide what that should be. So if you've got any ideas and see me around, let me know. Anyway, so maybe you are setting yourself up with a resolution or a challenge, or even just some plans that you want to achieve in 2023. And as you do, and as you think that through, maybe this verse that I'm going to share with you can be of help to you as well, where you consider where 2023 might take you. So my verse is in the book of Jeremiah. It's in Jeremiah chapter 6, and it's verse 16. It's about finding the best way to take the journey forward. So Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16, and it says this: "This is what the Lord says. Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is and walk in it, and you will find rest for your souls." So just a tiny bit of background. This was actually part of a warning that God had given to Jeremiah to tell God's people about. And it was a warning about some really difficult times ahead and how they could best deal with them. So let's pull apart this verse a bit and see how we can relate it to us and where we're heading this new year. So let's do that kind of phrase by phrase. So the first phrase is stand at the crossroads and look. So the word stand means that at this point in a journey, you're not moving, okay? If you're standing, you've stopped for a moment, you're in one place before you move on. And when you are following a map or directions, it's actually pretty important to know where you are first on that map to be able to find the directions to where you want to go, right? So I've got a wee story about that. Now, Simon and I have been married long enough that when we set out on our honeymoon, we took paper maps with us. And who would have thought, you'd never guess that finding directions would be the first thing that would cause some strife between us. I'm sure it's never happened before in the history of men and women, has it, arguing about finding directions. Quite unique. But anyway, this was on the very evening of the day of our wedding. And after a lovely but long day, we set out from my parents' place in Dannevirke and made the 3-hour journey to Wellington, where we had a hotel booked. So by this stage, it was quite late. We had a hotel booked. All we had to do was find it. So we got to central Wellington. Simon was driving and I had the map and I was trying to navigate, and I knew where we needed to go. I'd pinpointed that on the map, but I couldn't locate exactly where we were. And what I wanted to do was see a street sign and have, for a side street, and have time to locate that on the map to know how far along a certain road we were. But Simon wouldn't stop long enough so that I could find it on the map. It seemed pretty logical to me. Stop and find where we are, and then I can direct us to where we need to go. Simon's male logic was telling him, well, you just keep driving and we'll probably find it magically somewhere along the way anyway. Now, my memory is a little fuzzy after 27 years, but I seem to recall that Simon never actually stopped. He may have slowed down a wee bit, but just as well these days, there's a blue dot on the phone, right, that tells you where you are. So I wonder how many marriages have been saved by the blue dot. But, you know, we're still together 27 years later, so it must have been okay. But to know where you're going, you need to know where you are right now if you want to plan out where you're going. Okay, if you're standing at the crossroads, it's really helpful to know which direction you've come from and where exactly you are now. On a journey, there's no point following directions unless you know where you're starting from. If someone says, you know, take the third left, it's meaningless unless you know the starting point that they're describing that from. So at this time of year, many of us get a moment to stop and just be still at New Year's. You know, most of us, the majority of us, get to have some time off work. Maybe you get to go on holiday. You know, a lot of the regular things that we do during the year take a break and they aren't on. So whether you get a day or a holiday, whether you have time away or whether it's extra time at home, or maybe if you're a mum, there's just some extra people around to help out with the kids. But maybe you can use some of that extra time as a gift to just stop and be still and consider where you are right now and what's next. You know, in holiday breaks, I like to take some occasional walks on my own, all by myself, just to clear away all the other noise and thoughts and have some uninterrupted time to think and pray and consider the year ahead. I also love the time between when I wake up in the morning and when I get up on days when I'm on holiday. I do a lot of reading, but I also do a bit of thinking and planning and those snatches of time where it's just still and quiet before the day gets busy. You know, maybe for you, you can snatch some time over a cuppa in the sun. Or maybe it's that exhilarating moment at the top of a mountain that you can look out and contemplate your life from that perspective. So wherever that time is, or the place is for you, consider taking a moment to stop and think where life's journey has you at right at this moment. Think about, you know, where has God been for you in this year that's passed in 2022? What place have you been giving him right now? Is he the center of everything, or is he somewhere out at the edges, just there when you need him? You know, before you make plans going forward, knowing where you stand in life right now is important. What's the foundation of your life? Who or what determines what you believe or the code that you live by? How secure is what you place your trust in at the moment? Let's keep looking at this verse. It says, stand at the crossroads and look. You know, a crossroads is literally a road for travelling or moving along. But we can also relate it to a course of life or a mode of action that we're taking. When we think of a crossroads, we think about a road where there's more than one direction to move ahead in. And no matter where you are right now in life and what plans you make, there will be some crossroads ahead of you, I can guarantee it. There will be decisions to make, and some of them will be unexpected. You know, I love personally to plan ahead, but even with the best planning, unexpected intersections will turn up in life. You know, there'll be new opportunities offered to you that you didn't see coming, or maybe there'll be an opportunity that you thought you had that will be taken away. You know, something will change things if you make a plan. It could be the weather. It could be illness. It could be someone else changing their mind. It could be that you miss a bus or a test or an interview. So make plans for 2023, but know for sure that somewhere along the way there will be a crossroads, whether that's in an opportunity, a friendship. Maybe the crossroads is in the reaction or response that you make. But whatever it is, you will need to know where you stand and what you stand for to make a decision about the way that you go from there. So how do we make these decisions? Let's see what the rest of the verse says. It says, stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is and walk in it. So let's break down some of those phrases. Stand at the crossroads and look. So to look means to see, right? But figuratively, we can think about thinking about things, advising yourself, considering what the right way is. So at your crossroads of decision or the choice, you need to actually take a look and see what the options are before you rush into the next thing. Just stop a minute and examine the paths before you move forward. Stand still and consider what your next move is and how your decision might work out with the options that are before you. Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. You know, to ask means to request, to consult, to question, to pray, to ask for directions. Because it sounds like you and I might need some outside help sometimes working things out. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 to 6 from the Message version says, trust God from the bottom of your heart. Don't try to figure out everything on your own. Listen for God's voice in everything you do. Everywhere you go, He's the one who will keep you on track. It says to ask for the ancient paths. I looked up what this meant, and it's a pathway for travel, a beaten track, so one that many people have been down. But also the meaning of these ancient paths is also a course, we can think about it as a course of life that is eternal, it's lasting, it's tried and true. And interestingly, the meaning includes a way that may be concealed or secret or veiled. So this ancient path, this way to go, may not always be obvious to you, which is why I guess we have to ask about it. Jesus said in John 14 verse 6 that He is the way, the truth and the life. You know, but what does that really mean for the decisions that you make in 2023 or that I make? Well, it means that you and I might need to spend some time talking to Jesus about our decisions. We need to read our Bible to understand His way and His truth and the life that He has for us. You know, the way of Jesus may not actually always be obvious unless we're spending time with Him. But His is an ancient path. Jesus was there at creation, and He's been part of God's plan for humanity from the beginning and will be until the end. My favourite verse is also actually in Jeremiah, and it talks about asking God to reveal Himself and His way to us. Jeremiah 29 verses 12 and 13 says, then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. That's the direction we need to be looking for. Back to our main verse. Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is. This good way, it means good in every way, in the widest possible sense. So I guess it means a way that doesn't just feel good for a moment, but also good for your future. That's a way that's good for you and good for those around you. And we're told to ask for it again. Sometimes we need the perspective or wisdom of someone else to help us see what is ultimately good in our decision making. Wait, there's one more important thing in this sentence. It says, stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is and walk in it. You know, to walk means to step out, to take action, to move from where you are. This means that knowing where you stand and what you stand for, and then knowing the right choice forward is not quite enough. You have to take action and step into your good decision. Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is and walk in it, and you will find rest for your soul. What's the outcome of walking this way in life? It's soul rest, deep peace, no internal struggle. You can breathe easy, be in contentment and feel settled. Rest for your soul. You know, it doesn't mean that every decision you make will work out smoothly, okay? We need to understand that. But you can step into your decision confidently that you have done all that you can and have sought God's best in the decision making. So for sure, make some New Year's resolutions if that's what you like to do. But also take some time to stop, to consider where you are right now and what the choices are before you for 2023. Is there a way ahead that God is directing you to, that His Word is pointing you to, that you can walk your year down with God alongside you? And just remember that that life is generally not as black and white as we'd like it to be. And somewhere along the way in your year, maybe even most weeks, you're likely to come to another crossroads where you have to make a choice about what you do, your next move, or what your attitude will be, or how you will respond. When you do, I hope you'll take a moment to stop, to know where you stand and consider the direction that you take and where God is in that before you step out to walk. And when you prayerfully choose to walk in God's way, may you know deep rest for your soul in 2023. Happy New Year, Agora.